For me, I'm hoping to move somewhere where it's a little cooler. I don't know, maybe the Bay Area. Seattle's on my list. I just love rain, and I'm sick of how sunny Orange County always is.
Can we switch? Pittsburgh is so gray over here.
Yeah, you could go. It's 75 degrees outside right now. Like,
yeah,
totally
it's 75 over here, but it's super cloudy and gray, which is normal.
Are we talking about Seattle?
No, Pittsburgh.
Oh,
How is Seattle?
it is so rainy here today and gloomy.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. Did we have anything we wanted to start on? I didn't really have any plans for today because I didn't know about any new projects, but I figured we could just like do a recap of everybody's weeks and like what they've been focusing on, and then like I know we have a schedule more set in stone for like Seattle Web Searches Instagram and Clean Spaces Instagram and everything like that. So, did anybody have any like questions about that or anything they wanted to start on? Okay, yeah. So, Alethea, can I just get like a really quick recap on where you're at with the Facebook?
Yeah, I still have to post today's, like for Clean Space, today's tip of the day. But I have everything ready for that and tomorrow. And I'm trying to get a head start on next week's content, Clean Space. I think it's construction cleanup, post-construction cleanup. So I'll find something on that. And then for Seattle Web Searches, Facebook, like the Facebook groups, I'm looking for articles that deal with Instagram marketing as well as Facebook marketing. So I'll feel that.
Okay, awesome. And Megan, have you had a chance to look at that too?
I've been going through and looking at stuff, and then I've been like trying to find good articles to share. I was doing a little bit of it earlier today. I just haven't found one that I like yet.
Okay, for sure. Have you used Ahrefs at all?
I logged on, and like right as I was starting to get into it, I got interrupted, and I haven't had a chance to go back. But I like was able to log on and everything.
Okay, yeah. As long as you can log on, then just go ahead and check that out, and then get back to me if you have any questions about that.
Okay, awesome.
Jeffrey, did you have anything you wanted to go over today?
So yeah, I've been kind of trying to think about the Facebook and Instagram stuff myself. And currently on our end, so I use Google Trends and I monitor keywords a lot. And Facebook marketing services has gone up a lot recently, and a lot of it I'm sure has to do with the fact of, the algorithm changes. So most people are using pay-per-click, as their magic bullet for things, and I've been a little bit reluctant to jump into that because if everybody's doing it, it means it's going to be highly competitive. So we're going to be, on our end, making a Facebook marketing services landing page, and I'll be getting back to you on how I want to promote that. But I think the best way for us going forward to kind of improve our strategies a little bit is to teach you guys a little bit of video marketing, because video works really, really well on Facebook, and more importantly than that, aggregating content is something we've gotten pretty good at, and that's where Ahrefs is kind of a good tool. But I think we need to start creating our own content, and I think a lot of that is going to do with how to use Facebook. And the best way to do that isn't, you can either link to an article that we have on our website, but then we have to get the blog post written, or you can upload a video to Facebook. So what I wanted to do was kind of give Riley, I'm going to send you access to our Animoto, and Animoto is basically one way to make really quick videos. And I think if everybody kind of came up with their favorite, if we kind of come up with a list of our favorite Facebook marketing strategies that we've been using recently and made little videos around them. I think it'd be a really good way to kind of capture the attention of this, Facebook marketing service trend that we're seeing. So I'm gonna have I sent you the login for Animoto before, Riley?
I think so. Let me double check really quick, but I'm pretty sure I have it. I know that we had a backlog on Animoto videos too. Should we be posting those as well?
Well, a lot of those aren't Facebook related though.
Okay.
So let me share my screen real quick. If there are any related to Facebook, I'll post those right now and kind of show you guys how to do this. So let me share my screen. And let's all turn off our cameras for now because sharing screen doesn't work very well when we're all sharing our cameras. And let me know when you guys can see my screen.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is Animoto. Once you log in, this is what you're going to see. And basically, to make a video, you would go create. And then you're always going to want to pick Animoto Marketing. So Animoto Memories is basically the old style of videos. These are way better, the Animoto Marketing. So you hit create. Now you could pick different styles here, but a big part of Facebook is branding and kind of keeping things consistent. So I normally pick this one, the top 5 list. So choose storyboard.
Jeffrey, you're cutting out a little bit.
Okay, so I choose this style. Let me go back a page. So when you're picking a template, the one I pick, and I think we should kind of stick to for right now, unless we discuss otherwise, is the top 5 list right here. When you see it's the wedding looking one right here.
Okay.
So if you click on that, it's going to take you here. And the first thing you're going to want to do is change the ratio from square to landscape. I'm pretty sure Facebook doesn't do square videos. So yeah, you're going to want to do landscape. And I'll just really quickly, make a video. So I'm going to delete some of these. If you guys had to pick, one task that you kind of repeat on Facebook a lot that you think has been the most valuable recently, what would that be? Or Instagram. We could also do one related to Instagram.
I think engagement's pretty big, especially on Instagram. Like the more you interact with the people that follow you, or the more you interact with hashtags and stuff like that, I think the better your engagement's going to be.
Okay.
So I just find, especially on Instagram, just going through and following people back, or creating conversation and all that.
Going to Instagram, and I'm going to write this down. Following people back. What was the other one?
Following hashtags, interacting in the comments, or replying to DMs if the marketing company is like, hey, all that stuff.
Okay. So that is all good. I'll send this to you afterwards so you can kind of make a video of your own. But let's keep this simple. I googled Facebook marketing tips.
Okay.
Right, and this pops up number 1. You can literally go like this. So I'm just going to literally copy this, go on to this first slide. And so what you're going to want to do is hit the little T up here. This stands for text. And you can go, how to use Facebook for business. We're not going to do, obviously, 25, but we'll do, how many were on that page? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's just do 6. Oops. 6 Facebook marketing tips. And so something I normally do is, I kind of split it up a little bit. Now, with these little sliders here, you can change the size of the text. So, it's not necessary for that to be on 2 lines, so I'm going to just reduce the size until it comes down to 1 line. Then, you definitely, almost always you want to put on this legibility here. You can see that put black behind the subtitle. Or, yeah. Now you're going to need an image for the background. So one of the easiest ways to get images is pablo.buffer.com. Here you can search for things. So Facebook. So all you would need to do here now is delete the text, because the text we're going to do through Animoto. You can pick depending on, whether you want contrast or not. And typically I just go with light contrast, unless, there's a specific situation. And you can even upload your own, images, go Google images, but you just want to be careful, that they're free to use images, that they don't have some kind of copyright on them. But you can go share, download. I'm even going to pick a couple more Facebook ones so I don't have to keep repeating this step. And really, so once you kind of get the hang of Animoto, the main skill to it is really finding video and image footage that you can use to kind of make your videos unique. There used to be a lot more Facebook images in here. And then I'll just grab this one because it's cute and it has Dream on it. And it's at a computer. So now that you've got some images, that one, and there it goes. You can just drag them into Animoto. So I'll put this one, and you'll see it just put the image in the background. Now, over here, there's 2 things you'll do at the very beginning. You're normally going to want to pick the ratio, make sure it's landscape. And then for design, we're going to make the text color box the color that we use predominantly through the website, which I think is 00CCDD. We'll check. Nope, that's not it. Okay, let me get the right color. It's our primary blue that we use throughout the website. Might as well keep the branding consistent.
Yeah, can you send that code in the group chat?
Yes.
Okay.
There it is, 0088cc, so I was a little bit off. Okay, now we can go back to the search results. And in this one, we go, number 1, posts at non-peak times, evenings work great. Oops. Number 2, post 6 times a day, no change. That seems like a lot. I'm going to read this article. 6 times a day seems like too much. So I'm actually going to add this to this slide because I think that's pretty important. Change the color, make it the blue. Add a comma. So I think for most of our clients, we obviously are not posting 6 times a day. So this one I'm going to skip. Post less frequently to Facebook once per day. I think this is more on our level. Buffer is talking about big brands in this case. We're mostly dealing with slightly smaller brands. So 2, post less frequently. Oops. Come on now. Same thing, I'm going to kind of find, why this is the case. And with videos, very often you want to kind of grab their attention, and then you want to explain why it's important to them. So this is actually coming back to engaging, which is I like also. I might change this slide later, but for the purpose of right now, I might actually remove this altogether, depending on how much I like the other ones. So engage your fans by asking questions. You guys have heard me say this before. Questions are a great way to, get them to engage back. But all I'm trying to show you is really how easy it is to make videos with Animoto. And what's interesting is the way copyright laws are done, it's illegal for you to completely plagiarize someone else's content. This is the case on websites. It's also the case on social media. A lot of people think that it's not illegal to copy and paste people's stuff on Facebook, but it absolutely can be, depending on whether the content is trademarked or not, and copyrighted. But when you take a blog post and you make a video out of it, suddenly you've changed it, and the law gets really, really iffy there. It basically, it's always better to rewrite things on some level to, make it unique for multiple reasons, not just for legal reasons, but, there's whatever situation you're in, you always want to optimize it for that situation. Going back to our clients, right? None of our clients are posting 6 times a day, no matter what Buffer is trying to tell us. So, copying and pasting way beyond the legal side of things is not the greatest idea. But interestingly enough, with videos, you can get away with it, both legally and, this is a good example. Buffer wrote this great blog post, but they have no video for it. So, it's completely free for us to do this. One of the most popular post types on Facebook, questions. That's, I think, an easy subtitle. I think it's a good subtitle. In this case, I'd probably elaborate on the next slide a little bit more. I don't like the word anecdotally, but I'll think about that later. Probably can use a better word than that. But my thinking here is that, you know how we've been kind of sharing articles in the Facebook team, on, the Facebook team group? Let's start to take these discussions that we've been having and making, short videos of it, and then sharing it through the Facebook group and through the Facebook page. And then Riley, I'm gonna send a list of articles because I've been really following this this Mark Zuckerberg Congress thing pretty heavily, and it is trending like crazy. So I have a couple articles that I want to kind of add to our schedule.
Yeah, for sure. Just send me the links.
And just put extra spaces in where you think it might look a little bit better. So now we just have to put some images in here. So the computer one makes for the good post one. And this is the last image we have left. So you're probably going to have to find, a source of images besides Pablo, because if everybody's using Pablo, we're going to run out of images pretty quickly. So I think that'll leave up to you guys. I'll come up with some recommendations on where you can find images, but that can actually be very time consuming and difficult. So let me get back to you on that with some extra tips. But for right now, you can go, what you want to Google is royalty-free images. That's the keyword phrase.
Okay.
And then they're going to have a number of websites for this. Pixabay is a very popular one, but all these are going to be good. As long as it says royalty-free images, you're good to go. And another trick to that is if you were to Google something like Facebook marketing. If you switch to images, and then of course Google Facebook marketing, all you need to do is make sure that these aren't copyrighted is go to Tools. I think it's Tools. Yeah, Tools, Usage Rights, labeled for reuse. And since we're not modifying them, you don't have to put with modification. If you wanted to modify them, then you could. But here now you have a page full of royalty-free images. So that, in combination with just Googling royalty-free images and going to the websites that pop up for that, those are two good strategies for finding them.
Okay.
And then what I'm going to do is, on the last slide, you're going to want to put in our logo. So let me get the logo for you guys. And for right now, let's make these videos and send them all to Riley, and then Riley can send them to me, and I will kind of figure out. I'm not entirely sure if I want to put a logo at the end because whenever you share something on Facebook, your logo's already there anyways because it's coming from usually the Facebook page. But if we're going to be sharing them through groups, we might still want our branding somewhere. And so that's also something that's cool about Pablo is you can actually insert a logo. So I'll share the logo with you guys anyways, and we'll kind of play around with how much we want to advertise the business. Sometimes it can be too much. So where is it? Logo. Yeah. Let me get you guys the right logo file. It's not that one. So this is the logo only. I'll share that because I know it's ready to go. But I'll just delete this slide and I'll show you what it looks like. And we made this in the last 20 minutes. So a good rule of thumb for the time of the slide is if you have 2 lines of text, I normally put 3 to 4 seconds. So here we have 4 lines. I would do between 5 to 6 seconds. And part of this is, just going to be, you're going to have to watch the video and see whether you had enough time to read it or not. So this one has 5 lines, 6 to 7 seconds. And this one has 4 lines, so 5 to 6 seconds. And remember that on Facebook, we're dealing with really short attention spans. So the shorter the better, typically. So we got 3, 7, so I'm going to do 8 to 9 seconds. Let's just see what this looks like. So clearly, we need a couple more seconds on this last slide. I'm going to make that more like 11. And also, I can change this to 3 Facebook marketing tips. If my computer wasn't lagging. So also one thing to do is you're going to want to change the music because you don't want to all be using the same songs. So in here, I usually pick something that is instrumental. That means it doesn't have vocals, because vocals can be very, very distracting. That is too hardcore. Okay, so this is saved. I need to refresh because it's not letting me edit the slides. Now I'll change this to 3 Facebook marketing tips. And I'll play it once more to see if I can read it. So that's kind of fast. I'm going to add a second. That's fine. I'd add a second there. That's fine. And that's fine. So that needs +1. Can you guys remember what the other was? Was it this side and this side that need +1 too? I think so. Oh, no, there wasn't that one. It was this one. All right, one more watch. Okay, so that's pretty good. I think, the last step would be to kind of have like a closing statement. Let's see if there is one on that article. It's interesting. If you continue reading this, so we tried this strategy out over the past several months. Our community champion Nicole has posted an open-ended question 5 times per week on our Facebook page. These have been great for stirring conversations. Along with this, we tested asking questions on the links and stories that we shared. The results a big decrease. And this probably has to do with the fact that if they're one of the most popular post types on Facebook, it means they're also highly competitive. People probably get tired of questions. Questions with links received 0 comments. So you can see how sometimes you do need to read the article. This snippet right here was completely wrong.
Right.
Seriously, one of the biggest things about Facebook is that there's just too much content on there. People have horrendously short attention spans because of this. There's just too much going on. And, you can see here, this is probably one of the best tips that they've given. When we put together our article on the anatomy of a perfect Facebook post, we recommended keeping updates to 40 characters or fewer. In other words, keep them super short. Free tools to fine-tune your website. You can't get any shorter than that. And it's totally true. The more text you put in a post, the less likely they are to watch it. And I think the same applies for videos. Videos on Facebook, the best performing videos are 15 to 30 seconds, and the closer they are to 15 seconds, the more that they get watched. This again just comes back to how bad attention span is on Facebook. And again, a lot of this has to do with competition. So I actually just had this conversation with a client of mine. All SEO is about competition. If your competitors are doing it, then you're going to get, a lot less results than if your competitors are not doing it. And then if the competitors are doing it, you're going to have to do it better than they're doing it. So suddenly quality becomes an issue. So in SEO, one of the best things you can do is find something your competitors are not doing. Because if they're not doing it, you're going to get a lot of points for it, whether or not it's good. The quality factor is not there, and whether or not your content is good, you're going to get more points compared to something that your competitors are doing. So 10 out of 10 businesses have a website, and then 9 out of 10 businesses, and do social media. The problem is that's not the full story, because even if 9 of your competitors are on Facebook, you're competing with a lot more than just the people in your industry. You're competing with everybody else on Facebook. So realistically, instead of 10 to 10, we're talking more about like 10 million to 10. It is the amount of competition you're dealing with on Facebook is insane. And this is why it's really helpful. One of the biggest things you can do is get to the point. Get to the point and save whoever is, watching the video or reading your or reading your post, save them some time. And the more you point that out to them, the happier they're going to be. If you frustrate them for even a millisecond, you're going to lose their attention. And you can see how sometimes, like your content everywhere, that is such a short message that it gets them thinking, what is this post about? So on Facebook, less is more in a big way. So you should always be thinking about, how do you get to the point? How do you save them to the time? How do you summarize something? And tell them how it's important, how and why it's important without spending too much time educating them. And why should they care? And this is why, videos can actually be very powerful if you do them correctly. So I'm going to, I can even reduce this down to, so let's just start creating some videos and start bouncing these ideas around. Let's go back to the team page and kind of use the ideas that we have there. Because I was reading through, the Facebook group, and there's a lot of good stuff in there. So is there one of these articles that everybody thought was, interesting? This one is really long, so I know we can skip that. I was actually more interested in one of these that I saw a little while back. But was there any of these articles that you guys thought would be a good place to start? This 20 Facebook statistics might be a really good one to start on. Because you can pick the best statistics and just put them in a video. And, if one of them is really good. So they use advertising by extra. This one could be really good because, again, a lot of people are focusing on pay-per-click these days because organic is getting so difficult. So this actually might be the best one to start on. AdExpresso, is a pay-per-click tool for Facebook. This one also is a good one. Yeah, so I mean, Aletha, why don't you start there? Take out the first sentence, break into a few more paragraphs.
Okay, yeah, I can do that.
Let's see how we can summarize this article down into hopefully closer to 15 seconds, but at least less than 30 seconds.
Okay.
And I have a question. Did you find these? How did you find these? Did you use BuzzSumo? Did you use Ahrefs? Or did you just do some Googling?
I just typed a search into Google and then I used Ahrefs to see which one had the highest traffic.
Perfect.
And
Perfect. That is one of the best ways you can do this because Ahrefs will then kind of prioritize it even further because Google has a lot of this secret sauce in the background. It doesn't tell you why it's serving things, number one. And a lot of that has to do with, what's saved in your cookies. So, let's see. I'm going to go through these articles and actually come up with a couple ideas myself and send them over to Riley. But everybody, let's just go back to this Facebook group, find your favorite article, and then kind of summarize your favorite parts about it into videos.
Okay, that sounds great. I sent the username and password to Animoto to everybody.
Okay, great. And I'm going to pin this article to the top because I think this is, some good short tail keywords. If you need to do any extra, actually, forget that. For right now, let's just use the articles that are currently here in the group. No sense in, doing any more research for right now. All right, I think, that'll be enough. You guys, Animoto, I made that pretty quickly because I've done quite a few Animoto videos. So if you run into any problems using Animoto, please shoot your questions into this group and I can answer them, if not, make a short tutorial video on it. So I did record this whole session, which I'm going to upload to YouTube, and I'll also post that to the Facebook group, team group, so you guys can rewatch this if you need to.
Okay, that'll be great.
So, Riley, I know that the main goal for last week was to make a schedule, right? Has that been done? Where are we on that?
Thomas had a little bit of like delay getting it done, but I went ahead and made up a schedule. I can send you a screenshot of it if you want.
Yeah,
I
where
basically
is
just
that
put
right now? Where's that living?
it's in the OneNote document that I shared last week.
Okay, OneNote. Let's see.
Um,
Can you message it to me directly?
yeah. I've got the link right now.
Okay.
And then just go look down at Riley's calendar. That's where that's at.
Okay, great. So I'll take a look at that. I'm going to kind of go through I'm going to do the exact same thing I just told you guys to do and kind of come up with some video ideas and relay those to you later.
Okay, cool.
And then, so yeah, two things. I'm going to get you my ideas for the group content and then send you the list of basically trending articles related to the Zuckerberg Congress interview. Even though it's kind of dry, to be honest.
Okay. Yeah, that's fine.
Did anybody watch that, him getting grilled by Congress? Or was I the only one?
I didn't watch that.
I didn't either.
It was long, so I mean, I had to stop watching it at points too, because it was. But I've been like rewatching all the clips that people, cut it up into.
What exactly were they like questioning him on?
Like the allowing Cambridge to steal people's information, basically. But they didn't really talk about much because it's basically a bunch of old white guys that don't know anything about the internet complaining about the internet. It's more funny than it was informative.
Oh no.
Yeah, it was actually kind of sad. All right, so yep, Riley, go ahead and back to you. I'll stop sharing my screen.
Yeah, if anybody has any questions, just let me know. Everybody should have the Animoto login on LastPass. Go ahead and send me the videos you guys come up with and keep sharing the articles anyway. And always, if you have questions, ask me.
Awesome. Sounds good.
Okay, great. Does anybody have anything else they wanted to bring up? Any questions or ideas?
Well, let's just continue that conversation in the group, because yeah, I feel like you guys need to read a couple articles and then let's just start bouncing ideas off of each other, because if there's something that multiple people find interesting, I think that's really the sweet spot that we're looking for. One of the biggest problems on Facebook is there's just too much stuff. So it's nice when we kind of test the content out on ourselves and it's like, yeah, all, three of us find it interesting, then it's much more likely to be received well. And, Facebook, I think the biggest problem with Facebook is just that things aren't summarized, and you lose people's attention that way. And then secondly, just because it's interesting to you doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be interesting to other people. So by bouncing ideas off of each other, we kind of can find something that is interesting to all of us. Where does Facebook? But an easy question for me to ask you guys is, what about Facebook do you like, and what do you not like? Because those are two really important questions right now.
Right. Yeah, that's a good point.
Facebook's going to change. The government's going to probably regulate it at some point. Um, what about Facebook do you absolutely love and do you not want to lose? Because the government could take it away from you. My favorite thing about Facebook is being able to speak to relatives, that don't live in the same area as me, like Ecuador. I would not be able to communicate with them if it wasn't for Facebook. Um, Being able to go to events and parties, it has made my life so much easier.
Yeah, I like that, and then I like the groups too. Like I'm in a whole bunch of groups with my university, so like I always know if someone's selling a TV and I need a TV. Like it's just a good way to connect with other people who are either in close proximity to you or with similar interests. Um, so for me, that's probably my favorite thing.
Okay, what about you, Aletha and Riley? What is your favorite part about Facebook?
I'm gonna have to say the same thing. Like, it makes it a lot easier to connect with people, especially like family members. Because I have a few family members in California, some are in Hong Kong, and it's just a lot easier to keep in touch with them. And yeah, just seeing what's going around or going on around me.
Right. I think for me, it's like I go to school like 12 hours away from where I grew up, so I have a lot of friends back home that I still like talking to, and like even though I can like text them or just message them or whatever, it's still nice being able to like be updated on their lives, like and being able to see pictures like, that they post and like be involved in that way and just like kind of be a low key hype man from the background, like yeah, I know I'm super far away, but I still love you, kind of thing.
Yeah, being able to keep in touch with people without having to have a phone call for every single thing is amazing.
Yeah. And the groups are nice too. Like I'm in a couple groups just with my school, and like it's like whenever we have a whole dinner, or again, like Megan said, was people are selling stuff, or a lot of times people will just be like, "Hey, do you know who this person is?" Because I wanted to ask them a question, and then you can like get connected that way. So it's just like a really good like networking place too.
Mm-hmm. So like everything everyone just said, would make for great videos and stuff. And there are people out there who absolutely hate Facebook, but they just because they don't know what it could do for them. I'm pretty sure that even the people, that are really worked up about all this fake news, and they want Zuckerberg out as the CEO, you know, if the second they start using it to communicate with a family member, right, and or joined a group where they could meet people with with similar that hate Facebook also, or get to an event that they would have otherwise missed. A lot of this you do not want to go away. And I would imagine trying to do any of this through Twitter or any of the other platforms. It would be such a pain in the butt.
Right. Yeah, I actually found an article earlier now that I'm thinking about it. I'll find the link to it, but I found an article that was talking about like the downside of Facebook and like their scandal and everything going on right now, but then it was also talking about like how the groups have really helped, and it had specific numbers on how many people like enjoyed the group and how like 40% of Facebook users were able to find other people with similar interests that they wouldn't have otherwise met up. It was something like that.
Yeah, there's a very vocal minority, that talks about how bad Facebook is, right? They love to say, oh, it makes you depressed, et cetera, et cetera. And I'm sure it does if all you do is sit on Facebook all day and watch people, that you don't know, right? Or, have close relationships with. But it is super helpful for a lot of people. And sometimes, especially with the scandal right now, everybody's talking about how they need to break up Facebook. It's too big and too powerful. Man, if you break it up, I think be careful what you wish for.
Yeah.
Right, because it took a very long time to get like multiple generations on a single social media platform.
Right,
Like,
I didn't even think about that. Yeah, that's a great point. You know, now your parents and your grandparents are on Facebook. I mean, that is crazy.
Yeah.
All right, so I think that is great for today. I'm going to take this. I'm going to throw it up on YouTube if you guys want to, rewatch it for the YouTube training and for the ideas at the end. And yeah, let's just start bouncing around and making videos. Remember, let's try to keep them short, less than 30 seconds, closer to 15 if possible. I know that's going to be hard.